Thank you so much for staying tuned to Y254 TV. Karibu sana. I hope you're having a lovely evening today. My name is Sheryl Blessing, and I am your host on the Power Talk Show. This evening, I'm super excited because our conversation is centered around women and power, because I know we've tackled a few different conversations on how we can take up more space, how we can pursue our dreams, and even just figure out what we want to do. But we haven't really focused on the power and women. So when power wears heels, how does that look like? How can we forge futures with more women taking up spaces in these places where I think traditionally we had more men? So that's what I want us to get into this evening. We're talking about the corporate baddies. We're talking about the girls who are taking up space in different fields and shattering the glass ceiling. So I'm joined by two amazing ladies who are going to inform this conversation this evening. First off, I have Sadie Wangulu, who is a global talent acquisition specialist. I had to try and get the name right. Karibu, ukwaje?
Asante, niko poa.
Iyo title, nimesikia title. Global Talent Acquisition Specialist. I love that. And next to Sadie, we have Nzilani Mulati, who is a strategy and leadership expert. Ukwaje?
Hey, niko poa.
Hey, I'm surrounded by power in heels. And I love that energy because I've wanted to talk about this conversation for a long time. We have more women taking up space. And I think with the men, kulikuwa na ile formula yenye tulikuwa tunajua this is how power looks like with men. But right now, women are forging a new path. So what does this future look like? What does power in heels look like? That's what I want us to get into this evening. And I want you to go to our platforms across all social media platforms at Y254, that is our handle. And nimewauliza swali. Nimewauliza about women in power. How do you feel when women are taking up more space in power? How do you feel when you find your boss is a woman? Does it make you feel empowered? As a man, does it make you feel emasculated? Go to our platforms at Y254 and tell me how you feel when you walk in and the power of that place, the power to be, is in heels. Hiyo ndo swali yetu jioni leo, and I want us to get into the conversation because I'm super excited. First off, let me start with being a corporate baddie. We have to juggle a lot. And most of the times we have to take up space in ways that you have to stand out and really be seen. Nzilani, was that your experience when you were starting out in the corporate space? Did you have to feel like you have to do the most, you have to put yourself out there? What was your experience like?
Well, actually, that's a good question because, yes, I think especially when you finish like campus or you finish school, and there's that I had that feeling of, hey, I really want to stand out. So I started off as a graduate trainee. I'm actually a techie, believe it or not.
Nice.
Yeah, so I studied computer science, and then I got a job as a graduate trainee in a telecommunication firm. That's Nokia Siemens. Now it's Nokia, and it was amazing. But then there's also that feeling of, wow, you know, I want to get ahead. Am I in the right department? You know, and just so many things going on. I want to go back to school. So I actually went back to school the next year to do my master's. But there's just so much I was juggling. And then, so it was just, I don't know, it was a very interesting, I would say, hula baloo space.
Yeah.
But now, I think looking back, because it's been 16 years since then, I think I've just learned to appreciate where I'm at, the moment, where I'm at in that moment, make the best of it, and lead from my strength.
I love that.
And I think for me, like my strength, one of my strengths is I connect with people easily. It's a strength. So I lead through that. Actually, people even make fun with my voice. They're like, oh, I have a small voice, you know, and I mean, yeah. So I think when I started out, I had that mentality of, hey, I wanted to be a boss babe, you know, dressing the part. I was like, why do I even have a small voice? I need to have, you know,
Ungurume,
nigurume, watu wanisikie.
Yeah.
I'm making my points, you know. And I mean, the people who have, that's their strength, you know, that's their leadership, I would say power, or their leadership personality. But I noticed I was getting so exhausted.
Yeah.
I was literally getting so exhausted. And so over the years, I actually took a career break for about 4 years. I mean, it was a career break, it was many things, it was just so many things, made many mistakes, learned a lot. But then now when I went back and then also focused on family, we were having our young ones. So when I went back in, I think I had better understanding and I said, hey, I'll just go in as myself and be open to opportunities that look like me and embrace them. And so that's how I pivoted into leadership, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, here we are today.
I love that.
Yeah. So
And I like that you've also brought out the fact that right now you're leading with your strength, whereas when you started, you felt the need to be kind of performative. You kind of have to fit in. And 16 years ago, I can imagine how different the space was back then versus right now. Sadie, in your case, tell us about being a woman, being a young woman. Let's pair those two together, because I think there's one thing when you're a woman, it's another thing when you're young in the workspace and you have to take up space. How was your experience like when you went into the corporate field? You're this young girl, you probably experienced, you have all this expertise, but sometimes it's a struggle to get people to take you seriously. So how was your experience like when you were starting out?
Okay, as a young corporate body or agency, let me say that. 4 years ago, I studied HR and I started out with a customer care opportunity. With that, I did not disregard that I studied HR and now I want to start as HR. And as a woman, I believe most companies or most corporate or most people usually take us as the admin people. But I believe there is strength in that we have empathy, communication, and collaboration. That is one of our strengths as women in every corporate field. So with that, being collaborative and having good communication and being empathetic, I took the chance to be a HR. I told my CEO that there was no collaboration or communication. There was that gap in that. It was a tech company, and tech companies mostly, even as at now, they are mostly 80% are usually men as compared to women. So me bringing in the strength of the communication, empathetic, and collaboration skills it was powerful, even though most people tend to think being a powerful leader is by being assertive and logical, but also being emotional, leading in an emotional point of view is also a power move. So I cannot say that I struggled as much to be in the female/male field, because I had the mentality that I have studied the same thing that the men have studied. We were in the same class, so the skills that I am getting that also. So I did not start with a mentality that boys are better than me or something like that. I believed that we all got the same degree, and your passion to whatever you love is what will push you further to your leadership or to your leadership role, despite your gender.
I really love that.
Yeah.
I love that both of you agree that you have to first lead with your strength. So that takes self-awareness. You have to sit with yourself and know, okay, this is what I'm really good at. This is something that I probably need some work on. Before you decide, this is how I can best execute work in my space. So I want to circle back to that. But before that, you've given us a very interesting perspective where you are empowered. I think with the Gen Zs, millennials, we were empowered. Tuliambiwa, by the way, you can do anything. You can be the president of the United States. Say you're not even a British citizen. I used to be Delulu. I used to be like, Mimi.
I can do it.
I can do it. Anything.
Let's do it.
And there was that empowerment, whereas the different generations, the past generations, they didn't have a lot of that empowerment. There was either an oppressive system where we had colonizers, where they were like, Africans, you need to do too much. You need to do more for you to be recognized. And then it became, okay, we recognize Africans, but the men, then the women should stay back home. Then we got to the 2000s, the 90s, where women are empowered. Women have been given education. Tumeambiwa where you can do everything. And we are embodying those rules. Taking Zilani, back to 16 years ago, because right now I think with Sadie, you may have had a few role models, because we've had so many women in the past few years who may come up and they've taken up space. But I'm imagining 16 years ago, who was your role model? Who are you looking up to as a woman? Who did you want to be like?
So it's so interesting you say that, because sincerely back then, there were very few role models. Those Wangari Maathai, and you're seeing, wow, this woman is such a strong leader.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I mean, she's over the tops, and I admire her, I respect her, but I'm like, can I be like her? You know, so there's that, I would say, mismatch, and then trying to see who do I admire. So the interestingly enough, I actually admired my mom. So my mom, she was a professional woman, and one thing interestingly enough, I really admired about her, she's a very assertive woman, a strong woman, but she leads with soft power. So I think I learned that from her. And allow me to just go to like Esther in the Bible, a powerful woman. She actually, the people who wanted to overthrow them and, you know, kill them, and that person ended up being killed.
Yeah.
But what did she do? She actually prepared a feast, you know, and approached the situation in a soft way. And so I've seen my mom do that. She influences in a very soft way, and we're going to move. Because what is leadership? It could be many things, but in a nutshell, leadership is influence. And so I actually saw that, and it was modeled, and you know, those things that you get to see. And then I realized, oh wow, yes, I can be very strong. And there are those times I'm like, hey, I want to do this thing my way. And I did it.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember I had just gotten married. And then the next year, I felt like, well, I loved my job, but I felt I needed to get into business. So I bombarded my way into it. My husband was like, you know, I don't think it's time, you know. But I was like, hey, you don't know.
Mi ndio najua.
Mi ndio najua. Let me tell you, I was like, I'm doing it. And you know, I did it. And you know, life was tough. And I think in that moment, I was like, hey, but you know, there's another way of doing it. So I was like, my mom actually leads with soft power.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean you're less powerful. That's her style. And there are others who are assertive. That's their style. So I think over the years, and I love that you mentioned what has been happening with our mothers and, you know, into the 2000s going on, and the different industrial revolutions, you know, information age is here with us. And so the leadership styles have also evolved. And so right now, the main leadership style we need to just embrace and just be comfortable with is adaptive leadership. To understand, okay, and authentic leadership. How can I adapt? Because there's so many moving balls. And then two, how can I show up authentically with my strengths for the good of everybody? If it's an organization, what's our good? How can I hear everyone out? How can we have a very clear purpose, very clear goal, and all move in that direction, influencing the different people within the workspace? They're Gen Zs, they think differently. They're like, hey, me, I want my autonomy. There's, we have all the way to the baby boomers. And baby boomers are like, I want to be at work by 8 or at 7. So as a leader, how do you now be flexible in your leadership style to accommodate the people you're leading?
Yeah.
So even though I lead, you know, in a collaborative way, there are other people. If I'm leading, for example, baby boomers, I have to come up in an authoritative way, you know, and because that's the language they understand.
Yeah.
I'll probably put on specs. I'll wear a black suit like this, and I'll be like, I'll hold my hair in a certain way, and I'll come with an agenda and maybe 44 slides, because that is how they understand.
Yeah.
So I think leadership is really now, as it has evolved over time, is now being adapting and knowing who am I leading, what's their language, and even I being flexible to lead based on their language. And what she said is a very important skill right now, emotional intelligence.
It's very, very important.
Yeah.
And I think those are some of the things that are really undervalued, or they used to be rather, because the things that you're saying are very, very true. In the space, soft power creates more impact than harsh power.
Yeah.
I think maybe in the 90s, in the early 2000s, the authoritarian system, it used to work. The way you said, with the baby boomers, that was the way. Amkuja kuuliza maswali, mimi nimesema mimi ndo boss. Nataka 1 million by the end of this week. Figure it out.
Yeah, and you do it.
And these days we come together and we say, okay, we need to raise 1 million. What are your ideas? What can we do so that we get this goal? We achieve the target. There's collaborative power right now. Do we think it's because the women have gotten into the workspace? Is it because in the past we had men leading with logic, and right now women have come in with emotional intelligence, with a different perspective? Would you say, Sadie, it's the women who've brought in this change, where right now people in the workspace are like, okay, instead of shouting, we can just talk, and we can have an understanding, all of us. Yeah.
Not to get me wrong, not 100% of women lead with emotional intelligence. Especially in the HR space, we have more women than men. But I've seen also men who lead with the emotional intelligence also in the HR space. So, especially in the HR space, they tend to be more assertive and authoritative with the women. But embracing the emotional intelligence and being empathetic, I really stand on being empathetic. I'm not saying that you should disregard the policies of the company, but at least as a leader, try and be empathetic and diplomatic and hear out your employees, whether you're a woman or a man, despite the gender, because that's how you will grow together as a company. So it is true that women bring in the emotional intelligence, but there are also men who bring in the...
I like that answer. That's very diplomatic. We can tell you HR. You know, she's very diplomatic. She's like, that's media training. And we call like, because, hey, period. I love that. And I love that. Genuinely, there's been a balance. There's been companies where we've seen men leading with empathy, and we've seen them grow. And women who've also led with logic, lack of empathy, lack of emotional intelligence. They're just hardcore. Let's talk about that. Women feel like for them to succeed, or sometimes there's been this notion of, for you to succeed in the corporate field, you have to embody the masculine. You have to be like the men. You know the way men are tough, strict, because you've just talked about, we're talking about soft power. Both of you are very soft spoken, and you're passing your point across. But there's this idea of, when you're that soft spoken, what watakusikiza kweli kwa boardroom? And you've just shared, you used to have a struggle with that when you were starting out. Tell us about that. Should we embody the masculine traits for us to thrive in the corporate field? Or can we be in our feminine and still thrive and still be equal to our counterparts, the male counterparts?
Wow, okay, I'm trying to be as diplomatic.
You're thinking through the answer.
So top of mind, what comes to mind is, I think context is key. I think context is key because understanding, so it's a whole balance and a trade-off of between what's my authentic leadership, and then also what's the environment where I'm working. Okay, and how do I merge the two to bring a win-win situation and to make things move? Because there's some places where things are so bureaucratic, and I mean, maybe you just need to be like a lion, like, hey guys, nifanyie kitu sahi, so that it moves. And maybe that's the context. But now maybe there are other people, there are other organizations, and you also now need to look at the culture of the organization or the culture of the people you're leading. What culture is there? Is it a bureaucratic style culture? You know, is it a collaborative style culture? So understanding the culture of that organization, and then authentically, and I usually sometimes say leadership is a dance. You test something, it works. You test again, it doesn't work. And so you have to kind of take a step back. So I think context is key. I wouldn't necessarily say, oh, you have to lead with soft power, or you have to come in strong. It depends with the context and the people that you're leading.
I like that. Because
Yeah.
I think you also gave us an example of when you're addressing baby boomers versus when you're talking to Gen Z. Because those are two different age groups and you have to address them in a different way. Another thing that you've mentioned that's very important, the company culture. And before I get into that next question, I want to ask you at home, as you're watching, the post we've made across Y254, across all socials, it's whether you think female leaders are inspiring or they're intimidating. What do you think? Are they inspiring? Do you want to be like them? Or when you walk into a space and you find that your boss is a lady, are you intimidated? Does it make you feel scared? Does it make you feel emasculated? Please let us know by going to our platforms at Y254 across all socials. And now, as you're talking about company culture, wacha nilete kwa Gen Z, because Gen Z sisi tunakuanga tuko na culture yetu. You know,
Na mimi pia nimeingia hiyo culture.
gang. I feel like Gen Z, millennials, we are together. We are very together.
And
So,
sorry to interrupt. I hope we
Yeah.
also have the opportunity to speak into that question. I think it's a lovely question.
yes,
as a
and
conversation.
we'll come back to it.
Okay.
So, what I want to ask, with Gen Zs, we always feel like tumekuwa empowered sana. We want revolution. We want change today. Today. So sometimes when we walk into company cultures, we don't try to understand the culture of a company. We want to change the culture. We want to be like, okay, let me enlighten you. There's a better way of doing things. Do you experience that as a HR when you're dealing with the Gen Z employees? Or is it similar? Do you feel like other groups, like with the millennials, do you feel like they're also restless and they want to make change and sometimes they just want a difference? Or is it something that you've noticed? Perhaps it's because most Gen Zs are not in the corporate field. They prefer to do their own ventures because they feel like the corporate field is a bit too rigid. Why do you feel like Gen Zs are moving towards private enterprises, maybe content creation, as opposed to going to the corporate field?
I think Gen Zs, or in each generation, there are things that you should learn from. So from the millennials or the boomers, the ones from behind, they have a skill of resilience and being patient. That is a strength that they have.
Yeah.
And Gen Zs are more agile. They are more agile. They are very flexible to anything that they can get. So that both complement each other. So
Yeah.
both generations should be willing to listen from each other. I know it will create a clash,
Yeah.
but for them to work together, the boomers or the millennials should be willing to listen to what the Gen Zs bring into the table, the agility, the work from home policies, it's not a must for someone to work 9 to 5 and I finished my work at 1 p.m. so there's no need.
I can work on my phone.
Yeah, I can work different companies.
Yes.
So the previous, so this is, I'll speak more on HR. So HR should be more open to creating more policies or more contracts that are more flexible to the Gen Z's demands. But also the Gen Z should also be open to listening to and learning from what the previous generations had. Because they also, as I said, they had their own strengths. And the reason as to why Gen Zs don't want to be in the office like 9 to 5 is, as I said, they are more flexible. That is our strength.
Yeah.
We are really, really flexible and we will want to learn from different ventures. So even as a company can gain more from a Gen Z being flexible because different companies can gain more from different ideas from Gen Zs.
Yeah.
So
I
would be
like
my
that.
response. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like there's something to be learned on both parts.
Yeah.
The reason I feel like what you're also saying makes a lot of sense, it's because these companies have been built from the ground up by these very people that we keep saying, they need to change, they need to change. There's something that they've been doing right, you know, and that's why the company still stands. And perhaps sisi na hizi mamioto zetu tunaweza angusha kampuni na 1 year because we'll be probably changing every 5 weeks. We're like, this isn't working. New strategy.
That's true.
You know, so we both need to learn from each other. Because when I think about even myself, 2 years ago versus now, I'm a different person. I'm not the same person. I don't think the same. And sometimes sometimes we come in with that fire. Oh,
Yeah.
these people are rigid. They don't want to do
But
anything. I'm going to start my own company. We don't know the hustle. We don't know the struggle.
Yeah.
You've talked about going into business. Let's talk about that, because I've had entrepreneurs on the show as well.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, and also let me add on that, because we are women. We have so many things on our table.
Yeah.
You are a wife.
Yes.
You have kids.
Yes.
You're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
You're a career woman. Let's talk about that. How do we juggle all that? Because I feel like sometimes also us Gen Zs, we can't. Personally, I don't know.
I also don't.
I don't know how you guys are doing it. Please.
You asked 2 questions, so let me go to the first one.
Yes.
Now, honestly, looking back, like the days, I'm like, I should have never have quit. Like, you know, I have those conversations, because now after that, it was 4 years of, it was just, life was lifing.
Yeah.
It was lifing badly. So I'm like, why did I quit again? And this job was so nice. I was being paid well. So, hey, by God's grace, later on, then I got another job, okay? Now, here's the thing. I usually, sometimes on TikTok, and I'm like, someone just says, my last day at work, I just quit. I'm like, do you know what will happen to your life?
Yeah.
I just reflect on what happened, and I'm already scared for this person. Because the business plan and the Excel and what is on the ground is different.
2 different things.
So now, should I have quit? No. Did I quit? Yes.
Did you learn from it?
Yes. So then later on, I was employed. I mean, lovely. I was there for 4 years. And then there were some changes in the organization. And then I just somehow felt I needed to go into a different season. And then again, now we got our second born. And so I had this conversation with my husband. What do you feel should be, the next step? And so we were like, okay, let's explore consultancy. But I asked him, are you sure? Because I was like, I'm happy to even stay here for 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at Nokia I was there for 7 years. So I was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, I feel it's that season. And then I, got into consultancy. And then now, because I felt this was we were more prepared, we took more time, we agreed, we aligned. And that's now the other thing around being a family woman.
Yeah.
So yes, in the, in the corporate space, in the thing I'm doing, I'm powerful, I'm calling the shots. But now when I come home, imagine, and personally, I'm Bible-based, I'm faith-based.
Yeah.
So when I come home, I'm submitted to my husband.
Yeah.
And submission doesn't mean subjugation. It means we talk up to the place where we feel there's peace on this matter, then we move together.
Yeah.
So then so initially I told him, hey, I feel, okay, could I do consultancy? And initially he was like, no. Last time you left work, it was tough. So we went into those motions, we put things aside, we had to, save money for a number of months, and you just put things in order.
Yeah.
Then I now got into consultancy. And now that coincided with our second born being born. And so we both felt, and actually felt, I wanted to also be there for him.
Yeah.
As I, have the flexibility in terms of consultancy. Now, juggling all these things, now there's a word I learned that I think I've been doing, I don't even know I've been doing it. It's called micro-shifting. So micro-shifting is how I balance everything. Imagine I have so many things to do in one day, so I shift into it.
Yeah.
So before I used to think I have a problem, I'm like, I'm doing work for 2 hours, then maybe I'm with the child for an hour, then maybe I'm meeting a client. So I used to wonder, am I confused? Am I normal? What is going on? Until actually my hubby told me, there's this word I found, micro-shifting. So that's how I'm able to do all these things. Yeah. I just get in, I shift, and I love what you said about the Gen Zs are flexible. So they are micro-shifting. So policies to support that would work. So how do you have a win-win situation where there are policies to support the micro-shifting? So if someone is dropping their kids off to school or picking them in the evening, tell them, okay, you take 2 hours off. If you can come in 2 hours later, fine. If you're doing your work, if you can work at home and deliver, but then there are things that are constant, that these ones we are not, this is a non-negotiable.
Yes.
This one is how we've done the business, it's worked for us, this is our DNA, This one we are not changing, and it could be the 20%. But the 80%, how do we allow an environment? There's this amazing book, the 4-hour, is it the 4-hour week or the 4-day week? It now talks about some of those principles.
Of shifting.
Micro shifting.
Let me put a pause on that, because I want us to dive deeper into that as we talk about adapting newer ways of working. Because there's the traditional way of working, and what you're talking about micro shifting, I think that's the way that we are going towards, where you can wear multiple hats in a day and still be able to be very, very efficient and effective.
Yes.
So let us take a very short break on that note, and meanwhile go to our platforms at Y254 across all socials. Nimekuuliza, are female leaders inspiring, or do you feel like they're intimidating? Let me know on our platforms at Y254. Let's take a short break. We'll come back and talk more about that. Thank you so much for staying tuned to Y254 TV. Karibuni tena sana. You are watching the Power Talk Show, and I am your host, Sheryl Blessing. And I'm joined live on set by two amazing, lovely ladies, Sadie and Zilani, who are giving us so much gems on the corporate field and power wearing heels. That's our conversation this evening. We're talking about power in heels. And the question I've asked you as we continue with our conversation today at Y254 across all socials is, do you think female leaders, do you think women who are leaders, are they intimidating or are they inspiring? What is your opinion on that? Please share your comments on the post that you've made, and then we're going to sample the comments. And I'll also circle back to our guests and tell them and ask them about that. But before we took a break, Zilani, you were just giving us your opinion about the way you've managed to shift. You've given us a name of micro shifting. The way you're able to handle multiple different jobs and skills, and you just shift into them through the day. I think, Squeezy, when I look at most people, most corporate babes, most entrepreneurs, most creators, kuna hiyo shifting. You find someone is a student, someone is an entrepreneur, content creator, a daughter, sijui what.
Yes.
Yeah, how do you do all these things? And I've been realizing, I don't know if it's just me or what, corporate women are doing that so beautifully.
Yes.
We multitask so beautifully. Hata wezi sema, Zilani ako na stress, huyu amekuwa overwhelmed. Please tell us more about that. Before I go back to Sadie, atuambie some more on that. How do you manage to do that and keep your sanity? Not just do it and be productive, and still have time for yourself, to still glow and look good. Unafanya aje?
Okay, wacha nianzie tu hapa. Ni God maze. And I mean, it's a phrase, but it's true.
Yeah.
Because, and then I think over time, I think you kind of figure out your flow, what works for you. But now, I think, I don't know. I just, it's good. But then there are times I'm just so tired. And even in that micro shift, I'm like, hey, I'm going to sleep in because I need to regain some energy, for example. So now, I think it's figuring out, how does your calendar look like? What are your values? So that's where I actually start from. What are my values? And then now I go into being present. It's an art I've had to learn over time.
Yeah.
So, like for me, my values, the first one is, God. God is my number one. My number two is my husband. My number three is my children. And then my number four is now work and I call it like my gift to the world. It's my work, it's meeting my friends, it's, every other thing I now put it there. So now what I do, how I've structured my day is, in the morning, I make sure I have my number 1, 2, and 3. So how I do that is practically now, I start my day I'll talk to God in the shower because
Una multitask.
Yeah. There's a time I'd be like, I'll wake up at 5 and I tried nikashindwa. So I'm like, okay, in the evening maybe we'll catch up some more, but now I'm just like, God, thank you for today. Yeah. Lead me through the day, so on and so forth. I catch up with my hubby. I'm like, even though we have 10 minutes of catch up or whatever amount of time, I'll be present for him. So I just do 2 small things. I walk him to the door because now I work at home. And then the kids, I give them hugs, blah, blah, blah. And then there are times we drop the kids to school. So either my hubby or I or both of us. So already my day nishaanza na values zangu.
Yeah.
So now when now I'm doing these other things, I'm not feeling guilty because there's that thing for mom guilt. So there are times when I'm working and I have a session, a full day session. I actually tell the kids, hey, mommy, today is this whole week.
Yeah.
And they understand because I've already given them their time. And I've learned the art of being present.
You have to be. I love that.
Present.
I love the way you giving us those clear examples, because you clearly, even in your shower, you're present in that moment.
Like,
you're actively like, I'm showering, I'm
Yeah.
speaking to God. Hata kutembeza tu bwana wako paka kwa mlango. You know,
Nitamtembeza.
that's a small thing, but it's a very important thing to do. Let's talk about, you've talked about mom guilt, but there's also the aspect of, with females, there's sometimes the need to, you have to do more. Because yes, we've been empowered, we are equal to the male counterparts. But sometimes you feel like, for you to stand out, I have to do more. For me to stand out, I have to deliver more, I have to maybe get more certificates, I have to get more qualifications. Sadie, do you ever feel like women need to do more for them to really stand out in the workspace?
Yeah, at some point, yes. But as a human, for you to get where you need to be, you need to do more. You need to show up. You can't just not show up and just say, because that I'm a woman, I will, of course, they won't choose me, or they won't. Just do it, and then you don't know the results that are there, so just do it. Don't overthink. I know we like overthinking and having imposter syndrome as women most of the times, but just show up. Always show up, and as Nzilania said, be present. Always show up, even if you have self-doubt. Everyone has self-doubt. Everyone, be it male or female. Maybe men know how to mask it, because at some point, some women are more knowledgeable or have more skills than men, but they tend to shy down, like they shy away. And the men will lie. They can lie, for example, in the interview, for example. I'm not saying that
In the application.
in the application.
Actually, do you have 10 years? Yeah,
Yes.
I'm an engineer.
They are so courageous. They will stand by it. And now women will now tend to be, no, I don't, I'm a secretary. No, don't do that.
Yeah, I'm an executive assistant.
Yes.
Girl,
yeah.
don't blame me. I love that you say that. Because I came across that post of, please lie.
Don't lie. I'm not saying that you lie so much, because I will get you as the recruiter. I
Yeah.
will get you. But be courageous. Apply
Yeah.
that job. Don't say, this job has said we need a 5-year experience, and I only have 4 or I have 3. Just apply. Apply.
You've been managing the home.
Just apply. But get good CVs, please.
I love that.
Yeah, get good CVs, and then you
love
apply. Show up, basically. Show up, woman, man. Just show up.
Yeah.
Don't have the guilt of, I'm a woman, I won't go to that interview.
Yeah.
They won't select me, for example, in tech. Most women don't apply, let me tell you. They don't. We even look for them actively. We text them, please apply.
Yeah.
They won't apply because they have the notion that tech belongs to the male field.
Yeah.
But no, just apply. Put yourself out
Please.
there. Yeah.
I feel like that's one message that we need to just put out there to the
Yeah,
ladies.
yeah.
Put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you feel like you're underqualified or sijui what, most times you're trained on the job.
Yeah.
You may have skills and then you're trained on that. You'll figure it out.
You'll figure it out.
And I want us to circle back to a conversation we had about men mimicking women mimicking men in the workspace, and it's been very, very fascinating because unfortunately we've had a lot of political unrest, and we've had one president, particularly Samia Suluhu. She's gone overboard, and I saw a post of someone saying, wow, these are enyewe women in men's fields. I don't know if you saw that tweet that was going around, actually women in men's fields, they're going to the extremes. Let's talk about that. Do we need to, because so many people have been associating the actions of Samia with women, the gender, and they're saying, yeah, you keep saying we should put women in leadership. These are what the women are doing. Do you really support what that argument is, that women, they can become worse than the men in these spaces? Do you feel like it's just a gender thing where women are worse or men are worse? Or how do you think about that?
So, okay, for me, I think again, I'll circle back to context is key. But then let me ask you, do we have a male leader that's been worse than her? Is there? Do you know, like 1, 2, 3? Do we know it?
Because I think Idi Amin.
Yeah.
Idi Amin was like.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So does it mean men are bad?
No. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Because unfortunately, also the other presidents, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Yeah.
So I don't think it's a man versus woman issue. I honestly think it's a people issue right there.
Yeah.
Period.
I think power
Yeah.
reveals who you really are.
Yeah.
Whether you're a man or not. Like power, it really defines who you are, your values that you go with.
Yeah.
And if you're given power, whether you are Nzilani or whether you are Charlene, it will define who you are as Charlene as a person. So there's no
Period.
man or woman in that aspect. People should lead with their values, good values, please.
I like that. I really like that because fortunately for the women,
Yeah.
Mungu akatuonekania. We have the president of Namibia
Yeah.
doing some wonderful work this week.
Yeah.
I think she paid
Yeah.
$750 million in debt, and she's introduced free education for the universities. And I really love that. She's called Netumbo Nadia Ndaitwa. I love her. She's my new role model. And we've had that perspective of we've seen both sides of the coin of women being extremists and also women being extreme on the good side or the bad side. So right now, as we think about it, more women are taking up space. More women are being empowered. More women are deciding, I want to become the leader. We want to break and shatter these glass ceilings. How do we juggle that with our relations? Because in Zilani, you're married, and men have been traditionally the ones in power. Men are used to be the ones who, au ndo wakusema, au ndo wakucontrol vitu. Right now, women are the ones who sometimes kidogo wanasema, au ndo wanapanga. How do you balance that? Because you've said out here, you're a powerful woman, you're in charge, you're the boss. But when it comes to you being at home, you submit to your husband and you acknowledge that he is the authority there. So tell us about that. How do we balance the outside life and our home life?
Wow, that's such a good question. So now, my dad was in the military, so a random thought just came. But now, here's the thing. In the military, everyone is powerful meanwhile, okay? But then, they have to submit, like, you get this, like if you're a captain and maybe there's a colonel coming, you have to submit and you listen. Because power without submission is very destructive.
Yeah.
So now, how I look at it is what value am I bringing? In fact, a bigger conversation is, how do I become a person of value? Because you remember we are doing the micro shifting. Okay, maybe it's a Saturday, I have to hang out with the family, I have to go to the salon. So even in that salon, this person who's maybe making my nails, she's an expert in making the nails.
Yeah.
So how do I be a person of value there and even listen to what she's saying? Maybe I'm insisting, oh, I want to do this color. And she's like, oh, you know, this color will look like this. Then she says this. So I think the bigger conversation is, how do I become a person of value in the different spaces? Because now, I'm a boss, for example. What's my value there? To offer leadership, to offer direction. I'm at home. What's my value here? To work with my husband, because, I mean, we are both, in God's eyes, we are the same. We have just different functions, okay? So how do we become a person of value there? How do we talk? How do we converse? As a mother, how do I become a person of value?
Yeah.
When I'm meeting stakeholders, how do I become a person of value? When I'm meeting my boss, how am I a person of value? And so I think that being a person of value now makes you to think of what value am I adding in this space and what role should I play, and I play that role.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you can be a boss and not be valuable at all.
Exactly.
You tuseme tu kweli. Kuna ule boss mwenye hata unashindwa, how did you become? Who Who did you lie to to get here? So you really have to work on becoming a person of value. And I think that takes us back to power really unveils who you truly are.
Yes.
So you have to start with your character. Who are you? And then when you get power, it's not going to change you or make you any different or what. You're just going to embody, this is my role currently. I am the leader in this position. I am the mom in this situation. I really, really love that. Let me circle it back to Sadie as we're wrapping up the conversation. We get a lot of stereotypes in terms of women in power. Wako na kichwa ngumu, hawasikizi, hawezi ambiwa. You know, there are all these things that we've had. Most of them are toxic. Most of them are negative. Hardly are they ever, yeah, she's very intelligent. We need to listen to her and follow her lead. The stereotypes are usually, to some extent, to bring the woman down. So what would you say about that? Especially like you being in HR. Because pia kuna stereotypes za watu wa HR. So please, how do you maneuver all these stereotypes and people telling you their opinions and people getting their own perception of who you are and what that means to you?
First, you should never let someone's opinion define who you are. So maybe if you got, maybe some women, if they got into leadership and they passed through all those struggles of working with men, maybe they are, in quote, bitter. So they should stop being bitter. Because the new employees, for example, if I come in your company and you are bitter towards me, I was not there when those maybe men were
Like, I'm sorry.
are being mean to you. I'm not there. Stop being mean. Like some women are good, most of them, but to be honest, they are the ones who are so mean. Like you even wonder why are you? You're supposed to be a mother figure or something, like to show women are quote unquote like referred to the people with the soft power. Even in the house, like the fathers are mostly the ones who are the disciplinarian,
the strict one.
But
the mother is supposed to be maternal. Like, I'm just a girl.
I'm just a girl. Stop being mean.
Italia, by the way.
Stop being mean.
I love that.
Like the women who are mean, they should just stop being mean and bitter. They should drop that bitterness in the gate when they enter to the corporate world.
Period.
Yeah.
I love that. Also, let's tie it up with your final comments. Just give us a parting shot in regards to this conversation, because more women are taking up space. And atuna blueprint exactly. So you need a blueprint. So tell us about that, just briefly.
There's no clear path of how to be a leader, or there's no book written. Yeah, there are tips on how to be a good leader, but there's no a blueprint on how these are the steps that you are supposed to take to be a leader. No leader started as a leader. Leaders, they started from somewhere. Like they started as an assistant. Don't be afraid, woman or not, don't be afraid to take up any role that you're given. For example, if you start as an intern, 10 years later or 5 or whatever years later, you might grow into the leadership role. And every role that you get into, with whether it's small or big, you should be able to gain in the skills and take up the skills that you are during that period of time.
I love that.
The skills will make you be more of a greater leader.
I love that. I feel like I like that. You should learn from every single role, and don't say this is it's beneath me. Or you have to start from somewhere. Gain the skills, and then you'll scale up the ladder. I really, really love that. Nzilani, what's your parting shot for us? Please just tell us briefly under a minute, because there's so many women who are watching. They're inspired. They want to be like you. Also, men who are watching and probably they want to embody that. The female movement, you know, and the power that we have right now. So please talk to our audience. What would you say to them in regards to this conversation?
So what I'd say is true leadership is who you are when no one is watching. So most times, as you're saying, you want to be in a platform, you know, maybe someone is like, hey, if only I'd been that seat. Or if I look at a leader, I'm like, wow, she's doing amazing things. But what was she doing when she was starting? So in every space, imagine, treat it as your master leadership place. Every place. If you're a CEO, do that. If you're a chef, if you're a stay-at-home mom, do your best. Because how you do small things or how you do one thing. I love that quote. How you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah.
If I'm doing this one thing very well and I'm giving it my heart, and that's pretty much leadership, how you show up,
Yeah.
How you do, because every day, even leading yourself, because when you look at leadership, it has 3 pillars, leading yourself, leading others, and leading organizations. So that's what I'd say.
Yeah.
Imagine just do your best where you're at and just show up.
I love that. I love that because I think we can combine those two. Do your best in every single arena and learn from it. Gain skills, gain experience from it. So the question that we asked was, do you find women leaders to be inspiring or intimidating? I'm going to ask that. But before, I have a major announcement to make, guys. This is my very last Power Talk show. And it's been an amazing 3 years. I know Nzilani is shocked because she said...
I'm like, what?
She's shocked because she's like, ati mtu akisema the last day anaanza kuwa na wasiwasi. But it's been an amazing, amazing time. This has been my family. I started here straight out of high school, university. And I've spent some of my best times on this couch. And I'm going to miss you guys. It's been so amazing. The next host we're going to have is also going to be equally great. And...
So you thought you were just going to walk away just like that. And we're just going to let you go. Because what are you talking about?
Oh my God.
Yes.
Guys.
Wow.
Oh my God.
This is some cake.
I was so not expecting this.
Yeah.
Wow.
So how has it been? What's been your favorite moment?
My favorite moment was probably when I started out.
Yeah, when you started out.
Yeah, because I remember I was an attaché. Ama nilikuwa intern kwanza.
Yeah.
Month 2 nikaambiwa kuna opportunity.
Yeah.
Kuna kakitu tumepata na wewe unaweza fill your slot.
Yeah.
So it was really, really exciting.
I know.
Working with Ram, working with Timur,
Yeah.
working with Kinabrayo, working with you, Filiana.
team.
The whole team.
Oh,
The
and you know
makeup girls, guys.
Let me tell you something. I was hosting rock tour, and then when I was leaving, I was like, oh
Yeah.
my God, so who's gonna take it up?
Yeah.
Sheryl came. And
Yeah.
Yeah, no, unfortunately.
Na Filindo alikuwa ananishikianga,
Oh
mimi
my
nilikuwa
God.
namshikia.
I feel sad. That is the saddest part. 'Cause when I'm not
Utapambana na
working,
hali yako.
No.
I'm gone.
But listen, it's been an incredible 3 years. We absolutely love you, and growth is what we all aspire to do.
Yeah.
And now that we're here about taking up more space,
Yeah.
go take space.
Period.
Occupy.
Thank
I
you.
want to remind our viewers what you've been able to do. Like vile alikuja akikaa na vile anakaa sasa hivi.
Nimetoka mbali.
Tumetoka mbali.
Si ndio? Yo.
Yeah, I think maybe just maybe 30 seconds, not super long. So let's have a look at that video. If we have it, tuone mali tumetoka na Sheryl. You know?
Aww.
Mama gonna miss you.
I'm gonna miss you too. You're watching Y254, the #1 youth station in Kenya. My name is Sheryl Blessing, and you are watching the Power Talk Show. This evening, I'm stepping in for Ramaguko, and I want us to have a very insightful conversation. My question is, how can you utilize social media in a way that is beneficial to you? So tonight we want to talk about creating beneficial social media relations. And joining me this evening, I have Karugu Wanjohi, who is a journalism student. Karibu sana, Karugu.
Asante sana, Sheryl.
How are you feeling?
I'm okay. I feel blessed being in this station. Yeah.
Yes, we're blessed to have you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I would like to engage with you as well. So you can go to our social media pages. That is on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Y254. We have made a post, and I would like you to share some of your opinions with us, which we will be sampling.
How there's a way this place makes you
Yeah.
like not just like emotionally or even physically.
Even physically.
You know.
I was young.
Yes.
I remember I asked Timo, my producer, I was like, "Neza ingia na nywele natural." Because I was told about the show like on a Tuesday, and then on Thursday I had to be live, and I wasn't ready. It was my first show ever on TV, and it was so exciting. Thank you guys for giving me the opportunity.
But then for Sheryl, what you see is what you get. Like she's always like this, ever smiling, always is like in a good mood.
Yeah.
All right, so unaambia nini watu?
Guys, it's been so amazing. It's been such a fun ride. I love you. You guys are my family for life. We're locked in. We are locked in, all of us. So this is not goodbye. This is like, see you later. Yeah. So I'll see you in the next chapter.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
So are you gonna cut cake?
Yes.
He does cake?
I love cake. Hey, kwanza hapa ndo mmenibamba. Simngekuwa mnaniletea keki like every time. Should I have said I'm leaving like every other time?
It's a good day. It's a good day.
But
Yeah.
she's also awesome. But I'm like, hey, cake.
Thank you. Let me cut it, and it's red velvet. It's my favorite. Thank you so much. Where is Timo? Producer ako wapi?
Maze, Tajeu.
Where is Tajeu?
Akuje.
Asante.
All right, so you're gonna do us the honors. Here's the plate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me put my mic.
Keki.
Kule sasa.
Kule sasa.
Oh.
Keki.
Kule sasa.
Kata keki.
Kata.
Keki.
Kata keki.
Kule
Sasa. Hii ni keki sio ugali.
Sio ugali.
Keki sio ugali.
Kata keki sio ugali. Woo!
Oh my God, I cannot believe they're telling you goodbye.
I know, right? It's so
my goodness,
crazy.
Thursdays are never going to be the same again.
Yeah.
Long after Bounce Nation and then Power Talk with Sheryl. And then we catch up. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I'm gonna miss you.
Oh, you're gonna
Let me
miss me
start because
fast.
it's her birthday also in a few days.
No, we have a, but she's here. Birthday girl. Could
By
you-
the Karen.
It's Karen's birthday.
Let's show you women in power. Our camera operator.
It's your birthday.
Mambo. Happy birthday.
I didn't get the second one because I was like,
Yeah.
that's injustice, you know?
Yeah, because yours is coming up,
Thank
Sasa. Let me feed my guests. We've had some amazing guests today. But this has been so fun. Oh my God. The best 3 years of my life.
I know.
Yeah.
And
Wow,
we forgot to
thank
thank our
you.
viewers. Maza, I wish mngekuwa hapa. Hii keki ni tamu.
In a bamba.
Red velvet.
Let me
Yo.
try it.
Yo. And it's so good. So good.
That's so good. Thank you so much. This was fun. I'll see you guys on Saturday for Rock Tour. That's officially my last day.
So Rock Tour, Saturday is going to be your last show.
Yeah.
And today Power Talk was your last show.
Today, this is the last Power Talk I'm ever
Yeah.
gonna do.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We wish you all the best.
Yeah.
We love you.
It's
God
been
spread,
fun.
God spread love and positivity. The same
Thank
way
you.
you two love women to show. And the show. You know.
Asante. Thank you so much. Bye, guys. Oh my God. This is so cute.